the bucket and a foul. Breakaway. Io.
Oh, meet me at the rim and don't be late.
Give me the hot sauce. Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Oh, he's got Giddey to steal. Right for the lead. Yeah!
Big time plays. Big time plays.
Giddey for the win. Go!
Oh, my God. I cannot believe this.
Improbable.
Hey everybody, time for a brand new edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. Stacey King alongside, and as you can see, our red-faced warrior, Timmy Kelley, is away. He's down in Florida. You know, he bought that place in Fort Myers. I think he's been down there like twice in 3 years.
You know what? I've asked to use it. I've always get the word no, so that's all right, Tim. I hope you get sunburned.
So you'll see Timmy next week, hopefully, and he'll be as red-faced as ever. So hope he's having a good time in Fort Myers. We miss him. He always adds to the show, and he'll be back next week, hopefully. Big announcement for the Bulls in the last few days. We are taping on a Monday afternoon. Derrick Rose jersey retirement night has been announced. It's going to come up on January 24th when the Bulls play the Boston Celtics. We all knew this was going to be coming, Stacey, but what a special honor for him and his family, and I know Bulls fans are all excited about this as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's well-deserved. He's one of the greatest players to play here, in Chicago Bulls history. Unfortunately, injuries kind of, derailed him, but he still had a wonderful career. I still think he's a Hall of Famer based off the body of work that he's done. And hopefully that comes at some point as well. He means so much to the city of Chicago. This is Chicago's very own, born and raised here, coming from Inglewood, and what he's meant to the inner city, giving kids an opportunity to say, hey, there's other things besides getting caught up in negative energy. You can be a ball player. You can get, chase your dreams.
I know we've talked about this before on the show, but one of the things that's really impressed me over the last few years has been, when Derrick played, especially early in his career, he was so young coming into Chicago, all the pressure of having to represent his hometown, that he was kind of reluctant to engage with the media and even with the fans on a lesser degree. He wasn't on social media that much. He was kind of doing his job, and that's it. But now, we see him really enjoying life. You see shots of him with his family, with his kids. He was at the French Open in Paris. He's traveling the world. He's having a great time, which he's earned all this. And I'm glad that he's able to fully enjoy his life that he's created for himself.
Well, I mean, if you go back to when he was a teenager, growing up, he was, his family did a great job of protecting him and shielding him for a lot of the negative energy that he could have easily fell prey to as a kid. The gang violence and all that. And to be able to focus in on basketball in school and then to parlay that into 1 year at Memphis and into the NBA, youngest MVP in NBA history. There's a lot of things that he's been able to accomplish here. And, when he was first here, he was a quiet kid.
Very much so.
Only the people who were around him, like myself and other people, the players, teammates, got to see the real Derrick Rose. Unfortunately, he was very shy, and sometimes when you're 18, 19, someone writes something bad about you, you just don't trust anybody. You don't trust the media. It could be one media guy that puts something bad about you or says something bad about you on the radio, and then all of a sudden you don't trust anybody because you let your guard down and you opened yourself up for a split second and someone took advantage of that. I think now, as he's gotten older, he's married, he's got kids. Kids are changing. Your priorities change, because growing up, it's all about him. You're trying to get from one place to another. You're trying to make your family's situation better. You're grinding. It's a grind trying to get to this level and to be the best player you could possibly be, which he did. And he was able to help his family and be able to take care of his family. And now he's got his own family that he's taking care of. I saw him the other day. He was taking PJ to school. Nice. And he was so excited that he was the one who registered PJ. Like, it wasn't his wife. It was him. And normally his wife does it. And he was so excited that he registered his son in school. He just kept talking about it. And I'm going to tell you right now, listen, I registered my nephew in school, and I never did it before either. And I'm going to tell you something. It was like trying to get him in the Pentagon. I was like, man, it's going online, trying to download paper. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Boy, I was like, thank goodness it's senior year. I'm not doing no more. No more.
The Bulls have been very selective about retiring jersey numbers. I think they have among the fewest of any NBA franchise. So number one, going up to the rafters, I know it's a topic of conversation in bar rooms and barber shops. Who else do you think should get
there's a ton of guys.
retired?
There's a ton of guys. I think Artis Gilmore should have his number up there. Chet Walker should have his number. Norm Van Leer
should have his number up there.
I know Tony Kukoc at some point will get his. You know,
and the next generation, Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, guys like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like college, you know, where there's a prerequisite to get your number up there. You had to have done something extraordinary, you know, whether, you know, in college it's like where you were considered. I know at Oklahoma, Kentucky, North Carolina, place like that, you had to be a consensus first team, not like one vote first team, second team. You had to be consensus first team. You had to play on the Olympic team. You had to do something extraordinary. It wasn't all conference and all that stuff. It was really hard to get your jersey retired, you know. So it should be the same way, you know. Guys who've been all-stars, you know, how many all-star games you've been, you know, where you ranking the leaders. You know, I think Kirk Heinrich should have his number up there at some point. I think the Bulls are going in that direction because it just these people meant so much to the city of Chicago. You know, they meant so much to building this brand and building this. They were all bricks in the road to get this franchise to where it is right now, one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. And there should be more jerseys up there because when you go to Boston, you know, I know you have to worry about running out of numbers at some point, you know, but you look at Boston, I mean, all those Hall of Famers are up there and they got all those jerseys up there, man. It's a pretty cool thing to see when you go to other people's arena and you see, you know, multiple jerseys, 10, 15 jerseys. I mean, no one's going to have as many as Boston.
Or LA. The Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers and Boston are going to have the most. But if the player in your organization meant something to you and they did some extraordinary things, they should be up there. And the names I named, Artis Gilmore was one of the best big men in the 70s coming up. He started in the ABA, he came to the NBA. You know, people forget how good he really was. Mm-hmm. You know, you got a bunch of guys, you know, that you could put up there. And I'm sure the Bulls, like I said, they're going in that direction, you know, because it's the right thing to do.
Well, you remember years past, you know, when we were kids, you had to have a number that the officials could signal with their hands.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have a number like, you know, 91 like Dennis Rodman had. That was illegal. Or any number that was over a 5. You could have like 58 or 38. Yeah. Now that's all out the window. You can have any number you want.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever get to a 3-digit number, but hey, who knows?
You never know.
But I mean, you talk about Boston. You see a lot of weird numbers with the Celtics because they got so many retired.
Yeah, they got so many retired, and you know, to be on have a Boston's jersey on. I mean, you could have a number that you don't even want.
Right.
You know, 17. You know,
like Marcus Smart was 36.
Yeah,
which
36.
Is the basketball number.
You know, 97. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, but it's a good thing to have because it shows you the storied history of that franchise. It's like going to a museum and you know all those players. You've seen those players on whether it's video, Bob Cousy, you know, Bill Russell. There's so many great players that came through Boston. The same thing with LA. You know, Wilt Chamberlain, you know, and all those names out there. It's like, you know, it's fun to see that as a basketball fan and maybe some people who are historians, they like that kind of stuff.
And some teams have done honors a different way. The Bulls, of course, had the Ring of Honor night, which was very popular. They're going to have another night coming up this year, which will be exciting to see what that class will look like with more people being added to the ring.
Well, again, I mean, the Bulls are being proactive and to really start honoring all the greatness that has come through here, you know, because as these players are getting older, you know, I mean, people are not making it now. You know, people are passing away. So you want to give these people their flowers before something like that happens. You know, like you know, Jerry Krause. I always say Jerry Krause. You know, he passed away and he should be in the Hall of Fame, and you know, he should really get the flowers that he deserved when he was alive. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only bad thing when guys, you know, Steve McMichael, you know, I mean, he's got his flowers up, but when you're in that situation, you want people to be able to be acknowledged while they're alive and to be shown how much they meant to the fan base, the city, and it'd be really cool to see that.
Well, we didn't get a chance last week. We had 2 guests last week. We hope you enjoyed that show. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's available for free on YouTube. Also check it out at your convenience. We had Mark Giangreco and Judd Bushler on the show. Judd had some great stories about The Last Dance and playing with Michael Jordan. Of course, Mark Giangreco is going to have an appearance coming up on Thursday, August 28th. He's going to be at White Eagle Golf Club in Naperville, 7 o'clock. He's going to be appearing with Steve Cochran. So check that out if you're in the Naperville area or want to make a ride out for a very special night. One of the things we wanted to do last week, didn't get to, was the schedule, which came out. And, you know, the schedule always has its quirks, its idiosyncrasies. I know that you feel strongly that the good teams always get the more favorable schedule. The Bulls have a couple of really long homestands and a couple of extended road trips. How do you feel about the way everything broke down?
Well, I would prefer the way the schedule is this year. I mean, you know, where you have the extended road trips. instead of playing in Cleveland one night and then coming home to Chicago the next night and then flying out to go to Orlando.
Which is a lot of that.
So you had a lot of road, home in a 2-week span. Whereas if we're going to be on the road, put us out there for 2 weeks. Put us out. When we had the circus trip and the Disney on Ice, we were gone 16 to 20 days. I would prefer you do that because then, if we're out west, so say we're out west and we're out in Phoenix and LA, there could be worse places we could be. But I would rather be out there for 16, 20 days and get it out the way.
Yeah, let's take a look at the schedule. Cisco, if you got the beginning of it, they start out with 4 of their first 5 games at home. Now, normally you'd say that's a great thing, but they've got some tough teams that they got to play. I think we got the preseason schedule on there as well. The regular season opener at home against a very good Detroit Pistons team, which Stacey has really touted as going to be an up-and-comer in the East.
Yes, that's a team I would keep an eye on. They're going to be in the thick of things. They got to stay away from injury, just like any team has to stay away from injury. But they've got to be a favorite to be at least a top 5 team in the East.
But you got Orlando, you got Atlanta, you got the Knicks. All those teams are tough. It's going to be really, you want to get off to a good start in any NBA season. But when you got 4 of the first 5 at home, you think, well, we can get off to a great start, but you're playing some really high caliber opponents.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if people who really pay attention to this. It's like, early on the season, the younger teams have more success than the older teams. They get off to good starts because they got the young energy. They're playing at a high level, and the older teams it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you'll see a lot of young teams get out there, and they'll be sprinting out there in October. They'll win 5-6 games in a row. People will be talking, oh, they're really great, and then come December. The veteran teams come back, like the Denvers, the Lakers, teams like that will come back and now they get their second win. Now they're in the race now. And all those teams that got off to a great start to full. So I would not be surprised, to be honest with you, that with the Bulls having a young roster, Detroit's, all these teams, these young rosters, I would not be surprised if all these teams can get off to a good start.
Cisco, you got the November schedule for us as well. We'll take a look at how things progress. As we mentioned, they start off with a heavy home schedule, and then you look at some of these teams they're playing. Look at that first week in November. You got the Knicks on the road in Philadelphia, then home against Milwaukee and Cleveland back-to-back. You go to San Antonio, the Pistons again. That is a gauntlet. Then you go out west for 3. You got the Nuggets in there. Yeah,
you just don't really – you look at the schedule, the Knicks are going to be tough. You don't know how Philadelphia's going to be with Embiid. You don't know. Then you got Milwaukee. They're also a team that's unknown. Cleveland, I tell you right now, Cleveland to me is going to be the best team in the Eastern Conference. Getting Lonzo Ball really enables them to offset what they're losing when Garland's not there. If Garland wasn't there and they didn't have that backup, they just had Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome's a very good backup, but I don't think he's an answer for what they need to do, where they want to go this year. You go out and get Lonzo Ball, who's healthy, who's ready to go, and now you plug him in as your starting point guard and hold down the fort until Garland gets back. Oh, my goodness. They're the team to watch.
Saw San Antonio on the schedule early, and I'm really fascinated to see how this team comes together. They drafted Dylan Harper second overall. Some people thought, well, they already have a couple of point guards. Why did they do that? But the roster that they're putting around with Wemby, who can be a defensive force in the middle, but also can give you a threat at all 3 scoring levels on the offensive end, how quickly that comes together is going to be fun to watch.
Well, and I think Wemby, with the way his season ended last year, because he was on pace to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Sure was.
And I think this year he will be Defensive Player of the Year. I think he will be an all-star vote on the all-star team. He'll be one of the highest voted guys. This summer, very interesting summer, went out and hung out with the Shaolin monks.
That's right, he did.
Listen, man, listen. For a kid that young to go do that and to try to, find himself spiritually and try to calm himself down. But I always liken to Phil Jackson and Zen. When you have something that works for you, that can get you to places where you need to go. We all used to laugh at Phil when we'd all be doing the Zen, and he'd get us doing the Zen, and we'd all laugh, and he'd say, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and guys would open one eye to see who's watching, who was doing it, and everybody's looking around like, are you doing it? You doing it? You doing it? But I tell you what, it really worked. It taught you how to breathe. It taught you how to realign yourself, focus. And if that kid comes, he's already focused. If he comes in laser focused and he can stay injury free, I tell you what, man, San Antonio could be a surprise team in the West.
Assuming health, which is always a big assumption, how long do you think it's going to be before Wemby is the best player in the league?
I'd probably say he's a year or two away. And it can happen as soon as this year.
Yeah.
But you also got to remember, there's a ton of talent in this league.
Sure is.
One thing when, guys retire, what are we going to do when this guy retires? What are we going to do? The league has got a bunch of stars on the horizon. You got Luka. Luka is going to be a totally different Luka than they saw last year. Luka is going to be the killer Luka that they didn't want to unleash, and he is going to have a phenomenal year. I mean, this guy's a 5-time or 6-time first-team All-NBA, so you cannot expect anything less of him than that, and now he's in better shape. But I think Wemby's about 2 years away from actually being the best player in the league because he does so many different things. He's still learning offensively. He's not where he's going to be offensively yet. He's still figuring it out. His body's not where he needs it to be, but he's going to get stronger. Every year he's gotten stronger. Every year he's shown you a different facet of his game. I expect him in a couple of years to be like Giannis, to be honest with you.
And there's been some great young players that have come into the league, going back to Ant Edwards, who was the number 1 overall pick the year the Bulls took Patrick Williams. And then you look around the East, you got Cade Cunningham in Detroit.
Oh.
You got the 2 young forwards, Banchero and Wagner in Orlando. And I think Jalen Johnson in Atlanta is going to make a big jump this year.
I'm going to tell you something. Atlanta's also a team you need to watch because if Porzingis is healthy and can give them what he gave Boston when he was on the floor, Atlanta is going to be a tough out. And Trae Young now has taken that role of being a leader seriously now. It's not about him trying to score. He knows he can score anytime he got the ball in his hands. He now has figured out that I can do much more and take this team further by expanding my game. Getting the ball to the right people, getting guys shots. His defense still needs to be worked. But that can come along as well because all you got to do is stay in front of people. We don't need you to try to go for steals.
Right.
If you get posted up, we'll help you. Just stay in front of your man in the basket. That can help a team out tremendously. Steph Curry's been able to get away with it for years, not being able to guard people. They switch him around, they throw him around. You see him in games, he'll be over here guarding a big guy on a dive cut. And then here comes Draymond Green, who throws him out of the way and gets him back to a guard. So you can hide guys defensively. All you need is a little effort. Look at James Harden. James Harden used to be a traffic cone. He just stood out there and let guys go by him. But he's recognized in order for his team to try to win and go somewhere and get past the first round, he's got to be able to play defense. So he gives you effort. That's all you ask for.
Yeah, the East is going to be fascinating with the Celtics, the Pacers, and the Bucks all taking steps back because of injuries, kind of having a gap year in some cases right there. There's going to be some teams on the rise in the Eastern Conference, and Atlanta is a team to watch. You mentioned Porzingis. They also solidified their bench. They got Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Luke Kennard. So this is a deep team, 1 through 10.
Yeah, they picked up some pieces they need. They got shooters coming off the bench. They got a big man that can still be a rim protector, can shoot threes, can post up. Porzingis, when healthy, is an animal. He's a beast, and he's got a lot to probably. He's probably got a chip on his shoulder. Boston gave up on him.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so you gonna keep me in the Eastern Conference? Y'all gonna pay for this? And this is a year like if these teams want to try to advance and get out of the first round and not have to worry about if Boston's looming. Indiana's gonna take a huge hit. But Rick Carlisle is one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's been that way for the last 10 years. He's going to find – they're a scrappy bunch. He's going to find a way to get those guys to play at a high level. They probably won't be the same as they were last year. But, you got, McConnell who played a huge role for them last year. His role will be expand.
And Nembhard will probably start at point guard.
Nembhard would start probably on a majority of the teams in this league. 80% of the league he would start. He's a good two-way player. He played with a lot of confidence in the finals. He looked like really, really like he grew up in the finals. And I think where they're really going to miss Turner. They're going to miss his versatility, his rim protection, three-point shooting. He's so versatile. Whoever you played alongside him, he's able to play with them. Pascal, Siakam, those two guys played really, really well together, and they were very interchangeable defensively because Turner can switch out and guard point guards and move his feet.
And they got a secret weapon now. The news on Monday, Jim Boylan has been elevated. He's moving to the front row of the bench. So that's their secret weapon. The coaching staff.
Yeah, hey, what was his name? Put the boots on and punch the clock? Yeah, okay. Good luck. Hey, congratulations.
They're going to install a time clock at the Pacers.
Yeah,
facility.
Congratulations to JB, man. He's a hard worker, man. He works hard behind the scenes.
Yeah. We wish we could give you some news on the Josh Giddey front, but there's nothing to report right now. They're still a long ways apart in terms of the contract demands on Giddey's camp as opposed to what the Bulls are offering. And Stacey, I hate to break it to you, but your vacation's winding to a close. Camp is only a month away.
Mark, you didn't have to tell me that. I mean, I kind of know what it is, but you don't have to remind me.
Be reminded. Yeah, I got you.
Let me just say this, man. They're gonna get Josh.
I know they
Josh
will.
done. I think right now, Josh is. If you're thinking as a player, I'm just in his point of view right now. He's not feeling loved. He's not feeling love right now.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look what I did. Look what I did for y'all last year. Look at my numbers last year. I put up some incredible numbers in the second half. Look what I've done throughout my career. Come on, man. Give me some love. Come on, take care of me. Take care of me. And you know what? He does have a point. He does have a point because if you look at the guys that he's being compared to, Jalen Suggs and Quickly and these guys who make that $30 million.
That Quickly contract is an
Well,
that was such a bad contract.
But see, you know what? That's probably why the GM got fired.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons.
Because the guy, first of all, is not worth $30 million. And second, he hasn't proven himself in this league to be a $30 million player.
He's a bench player in New York.
Exactly. And and when you look at what Josh has done in the NBA, he's proven that he's a starter in this league. Okay, so listen, the Bulls, they have the upper hand because they don't have to bid against themselves. And that's where a problem the Bulls have had in the past is that sometimes they just unload the truck and give a person, when they have the advantage, they give the player the advantage and they dump the money out to him, and then later on they regret it. This time is different now. You say they're not bidding against anybody; they're bidding against themselves. So why would you go out there if you're the Bulls and say, "Yeah, we're gonna give you $30 million"? You're gonna do what any other team would do. If you get $30 million from Brooklyn or whoever has got that money, no one. First of all, they know the market. They know no teams. If only team had it was Brooklyn, no one else had it. So he's not going to get what he wants from other teams. So, and the Bulls know that. So it's like, okay, let's come down from that 30. What is fair? And his people are like, I think they're still stuck at 30, and so his only option is going to be to take a 1 year deal,
offer,
a qualifying 1 year deal, and bet on himself. And then now you're unrestricted free agent. Now, if you're the Bulls, you're in a situation. This is probably what you want. Show me that you're worth $30 million. Sign a 1 year deal. Show me your worth.
Yeah, but there's a risk. If there's hard feelings there, he might just say, I'm leaving it.
But you know what, though, Mark? He still ain't going to get that money. He's not going to get more money than the Bulls offer him.
But there's going to be
unless they want to
10
sign
or
and
12
trade.
teams with cap space next summer.
They're not going to pay him that kind of money. They're not going to pay him that kind of money because nobody wants to pay. This is what's wrong with this league. It's like, there should be levels and tiers to this. We've talked about this on this show many times. You just can't give everybody $30 million. Guys like Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, those guys are those kind of players. You're paying guys who might be second, third, fourth option players, and it's no discredit to these guys. On their team, they're the first option. But on a good team, and I always tell people this, fans this, I say, take the player we're talking about, and you say, okay, Josh Giddey. Let's take Josh Giddey, for instance, because we're talking about him right now. If you put him on a winning team right now, where is he at? Is he the first option, second option, or third option?
Well, he's not a big scoring option.
So if you're let's just say, okay, we take let's go Cleveland.
Fourth, probably.
With the team they have.
Yeah.
He's the fourth option. Indiana with the team they had in the finals last year.
Yeah, 4.
Okay. That's what you're looking at right there. And a lot of these teams they feel they have to pay these guys because they're their stars and you don't want to lose them.
Look where the cap is going. Look where salaries are going. Devin Booker just signed an extension. The last year that he's going to be making over $70 million in one season.
Let me tell you something. I'm always going to be for the players, but they're going to have to change it.
Well,
they got to do something
up.
Because you're going to mess around here and you're going to see a Luka, making $800 million. You're going to see a Cooper Flag making $800 million.
He might be the first $100 million year player.
Because we're already seeing guys almost at $400 million, signing $350, $375 million contracts. Wait till you see, and these kids are young. Luka's 25 years old. So in 5 years, he didn't get the super max that he was supposed to get in Dallas, but he got a pretty nice, hefty raise. By the time that contract's up, you're looking at Luka being a $600 million player.
Yeah, it's just going to keep
ready to
going
go
up
crazy.
and up. And the NBA's doing good business, with their new broadcast deal. They got streamers involved, Amazon Prime, Peacock. I mean, everybody wants a part of it.
Well, I mean, that's why the players. I mean, somebody's making money.
Yeah.
So if the owners are making money, the players want to make money too. So that's where you're getting these astronomical contracts, and it's not really a hard salary cap. It's kind of a softer salary cap. you may have to start putting a cap on some of this stuff because, again, what about these smaller market teams? They're not going to be able to compete when it's all said and done. Oklahoma City's able to compete because they've been able to draft properly. They've been able to go out and raise homegrown stars. Now they're getting ready to go into a new arena in another year or so that is going to be state of the art. It's going to be what NBA arenas look like now because the arena that they're in now, that's more of a college arena. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to get the skyboxes and, their success has enabled them to do that. But they're still a small market team.
And they signed all three of those guys to max extension.
Yes, and you still and your role players who played a key part of that, you still have to take care of them.
Yeah, those extensions at OKC don't kick in for another year, so they've got another year of being. They might even be under the luxury tax. I mean, they've done a great job with their business, and they've got draft picks to burn over the next 6 or 7 years.
Like 30
Sam Presti has done an amazing job. Yeah,
listen, you did a hell of a job, boy. I'm gonna tell you something. If I'm a team out there, I'm gonna kidnap Sam Presti. Sam Presti, come work for me, buddy. Come work for me, man. I don't care what you gotta do. How much it's gonna cost us. Man, that dude knows his stuff, bro.
That franchise is set up for years to come.
Oh my goodness,
could have a dynasty in
you
Oklahoma
thought
City,
when Kevin
Oklahoma.
Durant and them left that was it.
Yeah,
they were done.
Yeah,
they just
again?
Retooled and got better, and everything has been done through the draft. They drafted all these players that has come through their program, and they have been able to get success doing it the draft way.
They bottomed out. They got high picks.
Yes.
And they cashed them in with good selections.
Yes. You know what?
And the Gilgeous-Alexander thing was lucky because they wanted all those draft picks in the Paul George trade. Gilgeous-Alexander was a throw-in.
Listen, Gilgeous-Alexander has been overlooked his whole career.
Yeah.
From high school to Kentucky. He wasn't even a starter at first in Kentucky, and then they realized how good he was. It was like John Calipari said, this guy's got to start. And then same thing in the NBA. Like Doc Rivers like, we knew how good he was. No, you didn't. You didn't know how good he was. If you did, you'd have kept him. And Oklahoma City did because Oklahoma City scouted him and was like that he had to be in the trade in order for it to work. And that's how he got him.
Yeah, in case you forgot the terms of that deal, I mean, this is one of the all-time heists in professional sports.
Robbed him in broad daylight with no mask on.
Paul George goes to the Clippers. They got 5 first-round picks. They got the MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They also got Danilo Gallinari at the time, who was a very good NBA player. So, I mean, it's just crazy how much
every time Paul George has been in a trade, the other team has benefited.
It's true.
Think about it. He left Indiana, and then Indiana was able to get some picks and be able to get some really good players. He goes to Oklahoma City, helped Oklahoma City get some good players. And now, went to L.A. He helped the Clippers get some good picks from Philadelphia.
Yeah, that eventually became Tyrese Halliburton. Paul George, after a series of trades, that's how they got him.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm telling you, man, Paul George is like a lucky charm. Somebody
he's magically delicious.
If he's on your team, Philadelphia, you see the pattern. Every time you trade him, you get something in good in return. Pass him up right now, baby. Say, Paul, we loved you. It didn't work out here. We're going to trade you. We're going to try to get us like 4 or 5 picks.
Hey, did you see the Big 3 championship over the weekend? Mario Chalmers made a shot, just like he did in the NCAA tournament to beat Derrick Rose in Memphis.
Damn Kansas Jayhawk.
Yeah.
Damn.
And Michael Beasley was a star in the Big 3.
Listen, man, I don't know how old is Beasley, man.
He's got to be his old Derrick. Yeah, so he's like 36.
Man, listen, if there's an NBA team out there,
he can still play.
You need a score. You need to go get Michael Beasley. Put all the personal stuff to the side.
Yeah.
Because we've known he's had mental issues and he's worked on that and he's got himself to where he can consistently do what he needs to do every day now. Man, give that kid a chance, man. I mean, hey, listen.
He can flat out score.
He can flat out score off your bench. He can come off your bench right now and give you 20 off the bench.
Yeah, that was kind of fun to watch.
Like Bob McAdoo. When Bob McAdoo went to the Lakers, that's what he did. He was a scorer all his life. Go to the Lakers, they win a championship. He coming off the bench. Man, give that kid a chance, man. Let him go out there and play, man.
So credit to Ice Cube for putting that together. It's still going strong.
It's a competitive league.
Big 3. They're having fun. They're getting younger guys in there, and there's some good basketball in the summertime when we're all starving for
hoops.
Speaking of starving for hoops, our good buddy Jeff Vukovic is getting ready for another Bulls season. He's always there at the United Center cheering on his favorite team. For all your insurance needs, auto, home, and business, make sure to contact our good buddy, nationwide agent Jeff Vukovic. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. The phone number 847-825-4783. Give him a call. He's got the best jingle in the business, courtesy of Stacey King.
Nationwide is on your side.
Always nice to see our friend Jeff, and basketball season, as we mentioned, training camp is about a month away, but football season is almost here. The kickoff of the regular season, September 4th, the Eagles against the Cowboys. The Bears play on Monday night. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more with our NFL expert, Glenn Morgan. That's next on Give Me the Hot Sauce.
The Bears are back, baby.
Welcome back. Give Me the Hot Sauce rolls on. The NFL season is almost here. The Bears will kick off on September 8th, Monday Night Football at Soldier Field against the Minnesota Vikings. Nothing like starting with a division game right away. And then, of course, week 2, they go to Detroit. Ben Johnson facing his former team, the Lions, who are the favorites, of course, in the NFC North. Joining us now is our NFL expert, Glenn Morgan. Glenn, thanks for hopping in. I like your backdrop. You got some Bears. You got Scottie Pippen behind you. Nice work and setting up your little shop there. The Bears had a weird last game against the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of the preseason. The offense, first team offense looked terrible the first 2 possessions, and they were able to cash in before halftime. I think Caleb Williams was kind of surprised he went back in there, but it was good that he went back in there because he got something positive to take out of it.
Yeah, most definitely. Unfortunately, in some ways, it looked a lot like what happened last year where the Bears would get off to a slow start, and then Caleb would finally get on track with the offense, and you would get kind of like empty calorie kind of numbers. But for all purposes being said here, this being preseason, you do want to end on a positive note. And it was a good thing that he went back out there, was able to do so, even though, at that point, I'm sure the first stringers for Kansas City were like, we're done. But
Right.
hey, positive. Take all positives. I'm not going to be negative about this at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm taking something positive. Tyson Bagent. I'm telling you right now, man. He looks like a stud. I mean, I thought his first year here in Chicago, he picked up the offense very well. I think he's picked up this offense very well. He looks very confident when he's out there. He knows where to get rid of the ball, where the ball's supposed to go, get it out of his hands very quickly. Right. Are we going to have a quarterback controversy at some point? Because I could see if just me personally, if Caleb Williams struggles a little bit this year, he has a game where he put consecutive games where he didn't play well. Could you see Tyson Bagent coming in and taking over a la Kirk Cousins?
No, not at all.
You don't see it?
No, I don't, because there's a reason why. And look, Tyson's story is a great story. I'm all for it. And the young man has proven himself year in and year out, and he's proven how dedicated he is to getting better each and every year. He's gotten bigger, stronger, and like you said, he looks adept behind the offensive line. He knows what he's doing. He's very confident. Again, we're only seeing him against second stringers for the most part. Keep that in mind as well. And his preseason games, keep that in mind. He went 2-2 the one year he did play his rookie year, which is good, but it wasn't like he beat world beaters. It was the Panthers and another average or less than average team. There's a reason why Tyson was taken where he was taken. There's a reason why Caleb was the #1 pick overall. And I mentioned to you guys before, something real simple in terms of observations from my vantage point is his ability, and that's Tyson's ability to drive the ball deep. In the NFL, you have to be able to make those deep passes. You have to be able to keep defenses honest for the most part. And you look at his yards per pass, even like this preseason, Tyson 7.4, which is good. I mean, that's average if you're talking NFL regular season. You look at Caleb, although he didn't have a stellar preseason, it looked solid, but his yards per pass were 8.8. And if you were to extrapolate that in terms of regular season, that's right where the best was last year, and that was Lamar Jackson at 8.8. Now, regular season, preseason is different, but driving the ball, being able to get those explosive plays, those are the things that separate you from the average quarterback in the NFL to the exceptional quarterback. Caleb is an exceptional quarterback talent-wise, and again, there's a reason why he's #1 and why Tyson was taken where he was taken.
What did you think of Tyson Bagent's news conference at Hallis Hall, where he almost broke down in tears talking about this life-changing money, talking about his dad, didn't have running water when he was a kid, and now, of course, his dad is a arm wrestling champion, and I'm sure he's doing very well for himself. But he talked about his modest childhood. He said he never was around anybody that had any money, and he was so grateful for the opportunity and the life-changing contract he's been given. I mean, stuff like that. The genuineness just jumped through the screen.
Yeah, he's an extremely authentic individual. He really is. And as bombastic as his dad is, he's an authentic guy too, and it's very American. It's a very American story. I mean, it is. It's, rag to riches is kind of a, generic way of saying it, but it's a very American story. We can all relate to that. And how can you not pull for someone that not only fights his way through that, but realizes where he's been and where he's at and how much he has to be grateful for, but how much more he can achieve. And so yeah, it's how can you not pull for a guy like that? Being said, I'm sure he's a competitor. There's a reason why he is where he's at, because of his drive to continue to do, and become exceptional and be that professional athlete. So I don't know how much longer he wants to stay being a backup. He and Caleb, they're young guys.
That's my exact point right there, because he's not playing, even though he's playing. First of all, you got to play who they're playing you against. It's not his fault they're playing against second tier. But if I'm the Bears, I want to see him against the number one group. Even if he had 1 or 2 series, let's see how much he's progressed from his first year to where he is now in the offense. Because at some point, in this league, quarterbacks go down every year. You better have a very capable backup quarterback to throw out there, because quarterbacks don't finish the whole season unless you're Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Most of these guys go down 3 or 4 games into the season, hurt shoulders, whatever, and the teams are not prepared because they don't have very good backups. We have a very good backup in Bajan, I believe.
I agree with you. I think we have a very capable backup. You mentioned earlier, Stacey, how adept he is in the offense, how comfortable he is. And that's the reason why the Bears were like, you know what? Are we going to get someone that much better who can facilitate and execute the way we want them to? And Bajan does an excellent job doing that. But is he going to get a chance to play? I mean, Caleb, for all the things that went wrong last year, 68 sacks. That's not mentioned all the times he's knocked down. That's not mentioned all the times he's running around and what have you. And he survived. He survived a 17-game season. And that was without the line that he has now. I think about Brett Favre with the Packers, and how Brett Favre never wanted to come off the field because of all the guys that were backing him. Mark Brunell leaves the Packers, goes on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and takes them to the playoffs several times. You have Brooks, who left and went to New Orleans, took them to the playoffs. You have Matt Hasselbeck, went to Seattle and took them to a Super Bowl. All these guys are backing up Brett Favre because he's like, I'm not coming off the field.
Yeah.
Caleb likes to compete. It's going to be very hard to get Caleb off the field. I know football is a game of attrition. I get that. But you can't bank on that. But there are ways to get Bajan on the field. I mean, if the Bears, say the Bears make the playoffs and they know it a week ahead of time, he can get in for a game like that. Or there can be spells where maybe Caleb is nicked up a little bit or what have you. Or the Bears have a big enough of a lead so you can see him a little bit. It behooves the Bears to get him some playing time. But here's the other thing too, Stacey. Maybe you don't want to show him too much, because if he has trade value, if you get exposed, then it lessens a little bit. Right now, the allure is very high and it's shiny. And if you want to trade him,
it's a double-headed coin, because if he really gets out there and does well, then his trade value soars through the roof.
That's true too. So it's you play the cards as they come to you, and the hand is dealt to you, so to speak. And we'll worry about that going forward. But right now, it's not the issue. It's not going to be a quarterback controversy. Caleb would have to be garbage times garbage to come off the field, because a lot of people's jobs are on the line if Caleb doesn't do well. So Poles wants him to do well. The head coach probably wants him to do well as well, and not to mention some of his teammates. But Caleb, look, I think he'll be good going forward. I was just looking at some of the numbers that Jared Goff had his first year under Ben Johnson. And if Caleb comes close to doing anything like that, and Caleb was pretty much sort of kind of there now. I mean, you look at Caleb's numbers last year, about 65 or 64% completion percentage. That's right what Goff had his first year under Johnson. I think Goff had 29 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions. Last year, Caleb had 20 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So, I think in this system, once Caleb gets more and more familiar, the more he plays, the more reps, so to speak, the more everyone acclimates to one another and the system, and Ben Johnson to the players and what they can do. I think you're going to see the reason why Caleb was chosen number one. You're going to start seeing those special plays, but you're going to see the routine plays happen more routinely.
As we tape on Monday afternoon, NFL teams are in the process of getting down to the 53-man regular season roster limit. The Bears just announced a handful of cuts. I think I didn't count them up. I think there's about a dozen, maybe 15. So they got some more work to do to get down to 53. Right. They did release Ian Wheeler, who was one of the stars of the Bears on Hard Knocks. He had the unfortunate knee injury after having an outstanding preseason. They also cut Austin Reed, who was the 4th quarterback in training camp. We're going to be seeing, I think, more recognizable names coming down the pike in the next day or so. The one name that people have fallen in love with is Jade Walker, who came in late in a couple of games, and he has got that great end zone celebration where he high steps it up the sideline. I kind of like that. But he's got good size. They think that he might be able to contribute on special teams. But if he makes the team, they're saying he'd be the 6th wide receiver, which is pretty heavy for NFL teams to carry.
It is, but I think with Johnson's system, you're going to see the ball fly out. As much as we like to run the ball and as much as Johnson is a play action type of offense, the receivers are still very instrumental. And again, if you have that dual purpose, the ability to be able to be on special teams, whether it's receiving and or someone covering on kicks, having a player who you know and you have confidence in goes a long way. And like you mentioned, Stacey said earlier, and we always talk about it, football is a game of attrition. Guys can go down very quickly. And if you have someone that you already are comfortable and confident with, already on the squad, you don't have to go out there and get them. They don't have to, take that time to get adjusted to the new team and teammates and so on and so forth. Why not have that? I think they're going to carry 6 receivers. It's the question becomes more so offensive linemen. How many of those they're going to carry? When it comes to edge rushers, how many of those are going to carry? And because of the injury to some degree with our secondary, that's a bit of a concern too. So yeah, it becomes a numbers game. I think the running backs are probably going to be maybe no more than 4 with the receivers. I think at 6 is probably solid with your tight ends because you're not carrying a fullback, at least 3 tight ends, maybe a 4th one. But I think that's where you're going to see with the skill position players when it comes to that. So, and of course, I believe they're going to carry 3 quarterbacks.
Tell me what you took away from that Kansas City game the other night. I mean, like it seemed like they were struggling at first, and then all of a sudden, man, the other group came in, and something just clicked, and you got excited. Like if you're a Bears fan, you got excited about what you saw because in years past, maybe that Bears team folds and they get beat by 4 touchdowns and it's over. Right. Now Patrick Mahomes only played a little bit, so it could have happened that way. But
it was 17-0 when he was.
Yeah, it was 17-0 when he's in there. So right. So we don't know how it would have turned out if he played all 4 quarters, but he didn't play. So, but right. I came away thinking, like, you know what, this team is feisty. It's feisty, and they're going to have to be feisty this year. They're going to have to fight, and they're going to have to claw to win some games because in their division alone, they're picked. Or they picked last in their division.
Yeah,
So they're going to have to fight and claw, and they're going to have to win games that no one thinks they can win, and I think they can do that. I still think. The over-under, what was the over-under? They got him 4?
8.5.
It's 4. Okay, so the over-under is 8.5?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
there.
listen, I'm pushing the chips in, okay? I'm pushing the chips in. I'm saying the Bears are going to win 9.
He did this last year, too.
9 games. 9
well,
games.
Here's the thing.
The over. I'm going over. I'm going over on the 8.5.
Well, here's the thing, Stacey. Both you and I got the same memo. Look at the way we're dressed. Got the same black hat on, same color shirt. We got the same memo. I'm with you when it comes to that. I actually believe the Bears are going to land right at 9-8. And Ben Johnson's first year as offensive coordinator, full-time offensive coordinator for the Lions, they went 9-8. They just missed the playoffs. And then the following year, 12-5, and then last year, 15-2. And I think a lot of that comes with understanding how the system works and the accountability factor. This just looks different. Again, like I said, I've been watching football in this city for half a century. Okay, this just looks different. The sustainability potential that this organization has now is something I haven't seen since maybe when Jim Finks was the general manager back when the Bears in the early 80s were eventually to become the 85 Bears that we all know and love. This has sustainability. And not only that, but you look at head coaches throughout the league, around the league. Look at Andy Reid. You look at you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got the Ravens. A lot of these coaches, even going back to when you had Mike Holmgren and Bill Walsh, these were coaches and head coaches who had trees. Okay, they had coaching trees where these coaches leave and they go on and do things elsewhere. We haven't had that from any of our Bear head coaches.
No, our tree's been dead.
It's the end of the line. It's the end of the line tree.
It's like a dinosaur. The dinosaur's in the tar pit, baby. You just came here to die.
Fossilized. Yes, I mean it's a tar pit, no doubt. And I think this has the potential. I see a couple of different head coaching candidates on this team already. Seriously, as far as the different position coaches go, and even
Antoine Randall seems like he would be a great coach.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, he's one.
Dennis Allen has coached. Bianchi's interviewed for a number of different NFL head coaching positions.
Right, and to your point, those are guys who have already some acclaim. I'm talking guys that develop underneath you.
Yeah,
and we haven't had anybody that's done that. I mean, the closest might have been Ron Rivera, and Lovey didn't even want him. Lovey was like, "You're getting too close to my job. You got to go."
Yeah.
So we haven't had any coaching trees. I think here we have an opportunity, and by we I mean the Bear fans organization have an opportunity to see that happen. Something that I've never seen happen here. I mean, nobody under Ditka became a significant coach that I can recall. And we just talked about Lovey, and Coach Wannstedt didn't last long enough. And we've always struggled offensively with that type of creativity. So Here's an opportunity to watch that happen. And like I said before, we're very fortunate that we're the head coach, the general manager, and our quarterback are all extremely young. So we can see this for a very long time going forward. And I think as Bear fans, that's something that we can be very positive, and that's looking toward the future. The immediacy of it is going to be a difficult 9-8 season, ups and downs, everything. It's not.
I
It's not
don't
much
think
linear.
fans will look at it as up and down as long as they're competitive, as long as they see difference in what they
Right.
saw the last few years. What we've seen the last few years, the Bears have trotted out. Uncertainty, lost, missed assignments, blown assignments.
Right. Blown assignments.
I don't think you're going to see that this year. And I think as long as they can do that with consistency, and they finish 9-8, or they finish, if it's one game over under 500, as long as there was consistency and you saw improvement, I think it's something to encourage Bears fans in the city of Chicago.
No doubt. You mentioned that just with the preseason game that you saw, even with the Kansas City game, they never stopped playing. They never stopped fighting. And you saw that. And that's a good sign. If you take anything away from preseason, take away how hard the players played from the first stringers on down to the guys who won't be on anybody's team. And I'll give you another little thing that I saw firsthand that'll give you some positivity when it comes to the fans and them having the patience and understanding exactly what's going on here. When I went to the Buffalo Bills game, there was a play where Caleb just threw the ball. He grounded. He dirted it, right? Screen pass. It wasn't going to work. He threw it on the ground. The fans immediately started cheering. And it wasn't like a sarcastic cheer at all. It was claps. It was like, yeah, like that's a great play.
Smart play.
It's a very smart play. But for your fans as a collective to know that and to react instantaneously like that, they understand what the process is that's happening. They understand that that's maturity on Caleb's part.
Instead of making a bad decision, taking a sack, or throwing an interception for pick six.
Holding on to it too long. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I think the fans are going to, not everybody, because there's going to have knuckleheads out there, but for the most part,
social media is toxic.
Without a doubt. As a collective, I think the fans understand what's going on here. And I think when they see how the Bears play and how they, week in and week out, the level of commitment to excellence that they're going to be attempting every week in and week out, I think the Bear fans will be positive and patient with a 9-8 season with the arrow pointing up, as opposed to some of this 7-10 with the arrow pointing down or no arrow at all.
Well, everybody fixates on Caleb Williams in the offense, but I was alarmed by how poorly the defense played against Kansas City. Granted, they were playing against Patrick Mahomes.
Stop. I was trying to be positive.
They've got to find a way to get a pass rush. We were hearing early in camp, hey, Montez Sweat looks great. He hasn't done anything in the preseason.
He hasn't even broken a sweat.
And this kid from the Colts, Dio Adebango, missing in action. They gave him a ton of money. I mean, that's why people are talking about, let's trade for Micah Parsons, because they're getting nothing with their pass rush.
You bring up a legitimate issue, potential issue. And because the secondary isn't as strong just yet, you don't have the luxury of having guys that can cover long enough so that you can get the pressure or the sack. So they're going to have to generate. It's going to have to come from up front. I believe it will. Some of it, keep in mind, too, these guys are adjusting to a new defensive scheme and what's being asked of them, too. So that's part of it as well. And they haven't all played together in real time, as far as everyone has been out there in the preseason at the same time. The best time we saw the defense look was probably that Buffalo game. So I think going forward, I think the defense will be fine. It'll be a bit of an adjustment. And again, sacks are a nice number. It's the pressure. You want the pressure because the pressure is going to generate turnovers. The pressure is going to get the ball more quickly out of the offense's hands and back into our team's offense's hands. So be a little patient with the defense because they are talented. And I do believe that, whether or not you get the sacks, the pressure coming from the interior as opposed to the edges. That's probably where it's going to be.
We've been trying to be patient for 40 years since they won the Super Bowl. That's a long time to be patient.
But you know what? Their defense has been solid, though. Their defense has always been the calling card of their franchise.
And it's going to have to be this year,
well,
especially
this might be the year. This might be the year that it may not be as good as it's been in the past based off of what their injuries or whatever. I think Sweat's going to come through. I think Sweat's going to when the lights come on, it's game time. I think he's going to show up. But I would, if I'm the Bears, I would investigate how to get Parsons. I would. What is it going to take to get that guy?
Yeah, that's a great question.
He's a game changer. He's a game changer. He can completely revitalize your defense. Very similar to with the guy from San Diego we had,
Mac.
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack.
But Jerry Jones is too stubborn. He'll never trade.
But he ain't paying him either.
Yeah, he'll just make him sit.
They offered him a lot of money the other day, and he turned it down. He said it's a principle of the thing. It's not about the money.
Egos right now.
It's not about the money now. It's about words that were said in the press.
Parsons lay down on the table.
Yes,
in the preseason game.
And see, here's the problem. Here's the problem with the Dallas organization. Jerry owns the team, and that's his right. He owns the team.
Yeah.
But someone needs it in the organization, whether it's his son or like, hey, Dad, you need to chill right now. Like, you're making the situation worse by being antagonizing your star player. You know, you can't do that. And now, here it is now. You gave him an offer he probably would have taken. But now since you got him upset, he like, I'm gonna lay on the table here, stretch out. You can rub my feet, get a pedicure while y'all out there chilling, and then when that first week comes and you're competing against, you're trying to stay up with Philadelphia in your division, Washington in your division, and the Giants are gonna be much better than what people think. So it's not gonna be a cakewalk in your NFC East. You need Parsons to be playing, and you need him to be happy.
It's one word: leverage. And you can look at it from either vantage point, whether it's from Jerry in the organization or from Micah Parsons. And I'll give you a quick example. Early on, when Jerry was a much younger man, or probably much more stubborn with his money, after winning the Super Bowl, Emmitt Smith wasn't paid, and they went 0-2, and then Emmitt Smith got paid.
Yeah,
but he probably played more than he probably would have. He's done that. He did it with CeeDee Lamb last year. And he's also done it with the starting quarterback as well. So, with Dak Prescott. So his superstars eventually get paid. But Jerry likes the noise. He likes you talking about it, likes us talking about it, likes the big media talking about it, because that keeps his team in the limelight. And he extrapolates that for more money and other tangential things. So
it keeps your team in the limelight. But when you're expected to be a Super Bowl contending team and you don't make it past the first round, then you get really, you're in the limelight. You're really in the crosshairs of people, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Right.
It should be about the team, and it should be the more pressure you put on the team by being in the spotlight early going, puts the target on your back. They should be focused on winning a Super Bowl. They have the talent to at least come out there and be in position to put themselves in position to win a championship. But when you have the distractions that they have, and then this Parsons thing has really blown up, because it should not have taken this long. If you look at all the defensive ends in the game and what they're getting paid, come on, man. This kid's like 25 years old, and he's better than pretty much
everybody.
And all these guys, Max Crosby, all these guys got paid. TJ in Pittsburgh. Watt.
TJ Watt.
He just got a huge contract. And he's at the back end. He's on the back end of his career. He's still got some years left, but he's not 25.
Nope. More like 52.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, and I'm clapping because you're preaching to the choir. I feel you. I get exactly what you're saying.
I didn't know what you are. I thought you were having a seizure. I was getting ready to go call your wife, tell her to come get you, check on him, give him some salt, give him some IV or something.
I mean, you're 100% correct, man. You're preaching to the choir. But at the end of the day, you're asking Jerry. He's got his Super Bowl rings. He's already a Hall of Famer. He likes the attention, man. He likes the attention.
He needs to go on OnlyFans. Go on OnlyFans. You get all the attention you want.
Well, like you said, it's his money. It's his team. He likes the attention. He literally, clearly, he's doing this on purpose. And he has an antiquated way of how he wants to do business, which doesn't resonate with how things are done in today's game. So you're going to tell a guy who's 80 years old how to run his team? He needs to do it differently, and he's made billions.
Yeah, we can't solve that. Hey, Glenn, we're gonna save the Vikings matchup until next week. We've got 2 weeks until opening kickoff.
2 weeks, baby.
So we appreciate you joining us, and we look forward to breaking it down next week as the Bears get ready to start the regular season.
All right, hey, go Bears, bear down. Appreciate it, guys.
There you go, Mr. Positive, Glenn Morgan, joining us on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Hey, speaking of positive, the Cubs are back. We'll talk about that next. So give me the hot sauce. We talked a lot about the fact that baseball season is a marathon, 6 months, 162 games. Last week we were ready to bury the Cubs after they had gone into a long slump, and now the way baseball works, they're hot again. They've won 6 of the last 7. They've pulled it within 5 of the Milwaukee Brewers, who look like they had the division all wrapped up. The Cubs won 3 out of 5 in that showdown series at Wrigley Field. Then they went to Anaheim and swept the Angels. So right now they're at a season high 21 games over 500. They lead the wild card race, and they're starting to hit again, which they hadn't done for almost 6 weeks. So nice to see Kyle Tucker come back. Hit 3 home runs in that series against the Angels.
Well, you were hoping that this slump was going to be short. It probably dragged on longer than what they anticipated. And for all the fans who jumped off the bandwagon, like myself, because I said it every time about that July mark, So hopefully they continue and they get on. They continue this hot streak. I don't know if they're going to win the division. I think Milwaukee's pretty comfortably ahead.
Yeah, 5 up with 31 games
Unless they go just right down the through the rabbit hole. I don't see them losing it, but that wild card is very important. Keep the wild card.
Yeah, since winning 14 in a row, the Brewers have lost 6 of their last 9, and they have one of the toughest schedules in baseball to close it out. This week, for example, they play at Toronto, then the Blue Jays lead the American League East, and then they play the Phillies, who lead the National League East. They've got series coming up against San Diego. They've got a tough schedule. The Cubs, meanwhile, have the second easiest schedule. They only have 2 series left against teams with winning records. So the math is tough. 5 games back with 31 to go, but the schedule favors the Cubs.
Well, and you end the season on a positive note going into the playoffs situation. So you've gotten through the dark days here now. You've righted the ship. Now let's go into the playoffs, and really, do some work. I still think they should have went out and got a frontline starter because now, in the beginning when they were through this losing streak, it was like, oh, I'm glad we didn't go trade anybody. But now they're back on the winning streak and they're going to be in the wild card and they got a chance to go deep. This is where you need that horse on the mound.
Well, they may have found one in their own minor league system. They drafted Cade Horton, number 1 out of Oklahoma, I believe.
Yeah, we Oklahoma, we sent out some really good players, man.
And he is now a dark horse candidate to win Rookie of the Year. In his last 7 starts, he's given up a total, not per game, a total of 2 runs over his last 7 starts. And he's developed into that ace that you thought you had to go out and get. I mean, now granted, he hasn't pitched a lot of innings. We don't know exactly if he can stay strong through the postseason, but I think they got a good one for the future in Cade Horton.
Well, and he's probably one of the reasons why they didn't want to go out and make a deal because you'd have to give up a player like Cade to get someone good. So they recognize, like, hey, this kid is on the cusp of being who we think he can be in the future, a future all-star caliber player. He's ready to go now. So why did we go out and, give up all our young talent like they've done in the past to try to win now? So smart move. Touche, Cubs, way to go.
If the season ended today, the Cubs would play either the Dodgers or the Padres in a best-of-3 series. Now, the way they structure that is the team with the better record gets all their games in their park. You don't travel back and forth in a 3-game series. So they'd be at home. But, boy, I tell you what.
Dodgers are comfortable playing
the Dodgers
anywhere.
are just playing possum.
Yeah.
When the postseason comes back.
Yeah. They got too much talent, and they're just chilling. They're just doing enough to stay where they need to be.
They know when it matters.
But when it comes down, the bright lights come on, they're capable of coming into someone's field and winning 3 games or 2 out of 3. Yeah. They're very comfortable doing it. They got the pitching, they got the hitting, and I'm telling you, man, Ohtani's a real deal.
Oh my gosh.
Ohtani's a real deal. I'm telling you, man, this is the modern Babe Ruth.
He sure is.
They're gonna be talking about him 100 years from now.
Yeah.
He could go down as one of the greatest baseball players ever when he's done.
Yeah.
If he can still maintain the pitching and the hitting. If he can continue to do that a few more years, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of take the guy for granted. I mean, it's just amazing what he's doing to be an elite major league pitcher and the most feared slugger at the same time.
Man, it's watching him. He's almost bigger than life.
Yeah.
Like you've seen some great players, and when you watch like a Barry Bonds, you knew you were watching greatness. When you saw guys like Mike Trout before all the injuries.
Alex
Rodriguez. And I would throw Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa in that mix too. But they don't have the impact that this guy has.
Mm-hmm.
This guy can affect the game in so many different ways. When you're an outfielder and a hitter, you don't really get a lot of, let's say outfield, you don't really get a lot of plays in the outfield. You don't really dictate what wins and losses in the outfield unless you're throwing a guy out and it's a game-winning saving run. But a pitcher, to go out there and throw 6-7 innings of dominant pitching and then be able to go out and hit a home run, a 2-run home run in the same game, Man, that's impressive.
Yeah, and Dave Roberts is going to be able to use Ohtani in any way he wants in the postseason. I mean, you look at their rotation with Yamamoto and Glasnow and Blake Snell, a former Cy Young winner,
Oh, wow.
Clayton Kershaw. I mean,
Oh.
he's got all these options as which way he can go in the postseason.
And he still got all these hitters that are capable of just dominating the series.
Mhm.
And Freddie Freeman, missed the MVP last year. Just had a hot streak that was amazing.
Yeah, Mookie Betts has had a bad regular season, but he'll be there in October.
When it comes October, baby, hey, you know what I say? Big time players make big time plays.
Mhm.
Big time players show up in big games.
On the south side of Chicago, the White Sox have been a much better team since the All-Star break, and their young shortstop, Colson Montgomery, has been fun to watch. 13 home runs since the All-Star break, and the White Sox are starting to identify some young guys. This is a long process, but they found some young guys they can build around.
Well, they're kind of taking a page that the Cubs did. Start developing young players. Let's stop paying all this money to aging stars or guys who are maybe they're in the middle of their prime. Start developing our young guys in the farm system. Start building through the draft, and they're doing that, and they're starting to see the benefits of that. Yeah, it's a slow process, but at the end of the day, you're going to get to where you want, and you're going to be there longer.
And they've got 3 young catchers who are all good. They'll be able to use them in potential trades as well as in their everyday lineup. So the arrow's starting to look positive for the Chicago White Sox. We're going to end up the show like we usually do with some recommendations or thumbs down on things that we've been watching. Stacey, what do you got?
Well, my thumbs up for the week is The Strain.
Okay.
It came out on FX, and it's a vampire kind of a show.
This looks like a fun family kind of
you
show.
know what? You know what? Let me tell you something. If you like horror, you're gonna like this. It's kind of similar to like infestation, getting disease, and so these vampires come out and basically that's the strain. They are giving people this vampire disease and they're turning them into ghouls. And it's a really good show. Somebody turned me on to it about a week ago. I've been binge watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in season 3 right now. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. I'm not watching nothing else right now. I'm watching nothing but The Strain. It's a very good show. Thumbs up, 5 stars.
With the NFL season almost here, I thought I would check out Hard Knocks, the story of the Buffalo Bills. And Stacey, it was kind of like with the NBA slam dunk contest. They've kind of hit a lull here. They don't have a lot of great storylines with the Bills. Josh Allen's a fantastic football player, but very mild-mannered and doesn't have a lot to say publicly. It hasn't really been, aside from the Damar Hamlin story, the life or death thing. That was interesting in episode 1, but it's just been, they're kind of stuck in the same pattern. You like the music and you like some of the photography
and the commentary, you like that, but a lot of the stuff is boring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made Hard Knocks so good in the beginning, because you went behind the scenes and you saw things that you're not privileged to see unless you're in that locker room, and coaches meetings and stuff like that, the players' interaction with each other, their families coming up to see them after being in training camp for weeks. Those things are really, really cool. And it's almost like they've kind of ran out of ideas. And I just think you keep the same playbook.
I think teams are a lot more careful of what they show.
Yes.
You don't see those emotional conferences like
Yes.
when they used to have on cut down day, the player would go in the office and guys would be crying. They don't show that stuff.
I'm gonna tell you something. Listen, that was one of the hardest things to watch when they say, "Hey, Coach so and so wants you to bring your playbook." And see, if I heard that and I've seen Hard Knocks, I'm like, oh, hell no, y'all ain't cut me on TV. Hell no, you take this damn playbook and you can shove it up your beep, beep. You ain't gonna call me embarrassed, me in front of 1,000 people, my family, friends. Yeah. Talk about, Stacey, Coach Johnson wants to see you and bring your playbook. Oh, hell no, take it. Here you go, man. I'm down there. I'm leaving. You ain't got to cut me on TV. I'm walking out.
So I'll give a lukewarm, mid for Hard Knocks. What I have enjoyed, though, is another football-based documentary. It's called The Kingdom, produced by ESPN, and it's based on last year's Kansas City Chiefs season as they tried to win an unprecedented 3rd straight Super Bowl, which, of course, they didn't, losing to the Eagles. But I only saw the first 2 episodes so far. The first one's all about Patrick Mahomes. His dad was a Major League Baseball player, pitcher, and they show, that he was a pitcher growing up, and everyone thought he'd be like his dad. He played baseball, and he had to tell his dad, I think I want to play football. And his dad said, if that's what you really want to do, go ahead and try it. Then became a star in high school, went to Texas Tech, and then kind of blew up late.
Yeah.
And
he beat out Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield transferred to Oklahoma.
And now he's the best player in the NFL. And then the second episode's all about Andy Reid and his coaching jersey, which is fascinating. He's been with a number of, small college teams going up to the NFL as a position coach, coordinator, and now recognized as one of the best of all time.
Did you ever see Andy?
The punt, pass, and kick?
The punt, pass,
they show that.
Man, he was in a Rams uniform.
Yeah, they had to give him a Rams jersey because he couldn't wear it.
He looked like somebody's uncle. All these little bitty babies out there, they're punting the ball 5 yards, and then here comes somebody's dad out there. The helmet was too small. The jersey was too small. He punched the ball. Matter of fact, he should have played in the game.
They gave him an active Rams player's jersey. It's the only one that could get that would fit.
Hey, Google it.
Yeah.
Put it. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, Andy Reid, punt, pass, and kick.
He might have been like 10, 11 years old, but he looked like he was 25.
I mean, that's one of the funniest things. All these little kids.
Yes.
There's big old Andy Reid.
And you remember they used to show that on every Monday night. That used to be one of the staples of Monday Night Football. They got away from that. I thought that was some of the coolest. But when I saw Andy Reid, I was like, man, somebody check his birth certificate. That dude looked like somebody's dad out there.
Yeah, so The Kingdom is really good. It's on. You can check it out on ESPN Plus. All the episodes are available.
Kansas City, I'm gonna tell you something. You know what? Ever since Taylor Swift got involved with the Kansas City Chiefs, like I just felt like Travis Kelce just lost his edge. He wasn't the same guy that we've seen in the past.
Well, did you see they kept showing that woman they thought was Taylor Swift on the broadcast?
Oh my goodness,
she was just a knockoff.
Yes, it was a fake person. Fake news, America. But he got listen. He hit a home run. He outkicked his coverage.
Yes, he did.
Okay, he's with Taylor Swift. Kudos to that guy. Okay, but man, you lost his edge. He lost his edge football-wise.
Well, he's also in his mid-30s, so I think that
I don't care, man. He's still dominant. He's still dominant. He can still be dominant. I just thought last year, he changed his hairstyle. He went from the Burke cut to the Beach Boy look. Trying to, I don't know if that's Taylor. The Swifties told him to do it, and he did it. He got the album released this year. Did you see on his brother in the brother show?
Yeah.
She never releases albums like that. They got a gym with that one.
They
got a gym because everybody wanted to know what that album cover was, what it was going to be, and she said on their show. But I'm glad. Listen, I think Travis Kelce. He's my fantasy guy. He killed me on my fantasy team last year. That's why I'm talking trash right now. Travis, I need you back because it's a keepers league.
Get your act
together. It's a keepers league, and I don't want to cut you, buddy. I don't want to put you out on the free agent market. I'm going to hold on to you because I feel like you got your Burke cut back now. You got your goatee looking sharp. I think you're coming back.
I see our producers, Nick and Cisco, frantically working their computers. Are you trying to find that Andy Reid thing, or you do something else?
Oh, Cisco's on OnlyFans right now.
Oh,
Cisco,
okay.
I know what you're doing, you dirty dog.
I think they're ordering more pizza. I think they're ordering more pizza because they destroyed the one that was.
Oh yeah, no one else got it but them.
No.
Yeah, okay. They don't turn nothing down but their collars, America.
All right, so check it out. You can just Google it. Andy Reid, punt, pass, and kick.
Andy Reid.
You'll enjoy it. You'll be glad.
Grown man Andy Reid.
You'll be glad we sent you that way. So we're hoping that Whispers is enjoying himself down in Fort Myers. He'll be back next week, and we will preview the Bears Vikings season opener coming up on September 8th. Until then, I want to thank our guys, Nick and Cisco, doing a great job.
Great job.
Good show as always.
And hopefully we'll have some news on Tim's squatter situation. I think it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end, America. So hopefully we'll have some good news that the squatter has been removed.
Yes, it is the Northwest Suburbs' longest-running drama.
Oh, my goodness. As the world turns, it's a soap opera.
Thanks to everybody watching on the Chicago Sports Network and watching on YouTube. We appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure to like and subscribe. A brand new episode every week at Gimme the Hot Sauce. So until next week.
Drive home safe, Chicago. BB.
He didn't come for the massage. He came for the facial. Don't zoom on. Does anybody know how to post videos to Facebook? There's a block party. Why didn't get the invitation? That's a huge three. Mustard. Lonzo left alone. Sauce. Able to swerve, bend that corner. That's the last time I'm going to see it. Williams straight up.